Welcome to Storycomic Presents, where we interview amazing storytellers and artists. This is episode 128. I'm your host, Barney Smith of storycomic.com, and we're excited to have with us the internationally acclaimed and talented head of comic production at Comic Republic, Michael Olasubomi Balogun.
Olasubomi Balogun.
Olasubomi.
Hi, everyone. No, don't worry, it's fine. It's fine. It's the first time, so.
So welcome. And we had I know we mutually connected with our mutual contact Besserat, who told us about the Comic Republic. You guys are huge. Like for anybody out there, if you anybody going out there, definitely go to Comic Republic. You guys got looking at your over 120,000 followers on there. You got your Facebook page got about 28,000 people are following you. You got even on your Facebook page, I mean your Twitter, you got almost 3,000 followers on that. And you are all just like a force to be reckoned with in the comic book industry. So
yes, we are.
Yeah. So Michael, talk to us a bit about as you are, because you're the head of the comic production. Before we kind of jump in and start talking about the individual titles, how was Comic Republic created?
Okay, so we were four guys. Like my boss and I always look back on this particular day and we laugh and we smile. There was four guys on a dining table in my boss's house back in 2012. Four guys who just love to draw, just love to create, love to tell stories, love to make comics and crack jokes and watch TV and play video games.
Right.
And eventually we looked at it as something that could become something a lot much bigger, something really, really huge. And we took that action. My boss has always been the spearhead behind Comic Republic, and we capitalized on that dream, on that, ideation, and we brought it to life. And it's from four guys, became 10 guys, became a couple of ladies, and then we went on to about, 30, 40, and 50 strong. And right now, we're like a whole community of guys working at Comic Republic. Guys and ladies, actually, men and women.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, we can't skip the women because I remember there was a time when it was just guys, and when we had the first lady join us, we're all like, "Oh my God, there's a lady now! Yay!" So that was how it was back then. Yeah, but it's been one hell of a ride. But it's been
amazing. And so right now you all have how many titles does Comic Republic now have?
Right now we have over 20 titles.
Wow.
We have over 20 comic book issues.
Right.
Over 100 comic book issues, but over 20 titles.
Wow.
More than 20 titles, yeah.
And
started from one and then became like over 20.
Right. And so which one was the first title that you got that was your masthead title, the one that is the most popular one that you have?
The flagship title, the backbone of all the other characters, Guardian Prime.
Okay.
That was the very first one. Guardian Prime launched way back in 2013 on the same day as Man of Steel, the movie Man of Steel.
Oh, okay.
So the comic book actually came out that day. We had like a release at the cinema, basically piggybacking on the crowd for Man of Steel, and it was an amazing outcome. People, left the Man of Steel stand while they were waiting to see Man of Steel, and then they came to the Comic Republic stand to see what we're about. Because we had this strong character that had this giant GP logo on his chest and looked like he embodied hope and truth and justice and everything good. And people actually just came to our stand, talked to us, what's this about, what's going on, who's Guardian Prime, who's Comic Republic, and yeah. So Guardian Prime was the first character that came out from Comic Republic, that Comic Republic gave birth to.
Okay. And this is the one we're looking at. This is issue 1.
Yeah, no, Guardian Prime has two separate titles. There's the Might of Guardian Prime, and then there's Guardian Prime Genesis. Guardian Prime Genesis basically talks about how he got his powers, who the character is, what he
Okay.
does behind, the superhero life. Basically building his backstory, his family, his conflict. Might of Guardian Prime focuses on his might, like the name implies, his powers, his strengths, the bad guys he has to fight, people he has to punch on a daily basis, people he needs to save, the conflicts that he goes through, the trials and tribulations that he has to undergo, just in order for him to, be that hero that he needs to.
Right.
So there's Might of Guardian Prime, and then there's Guardian Prime Genesis, both the same character, but two different
Okay.
comic books telling stories about the same character, but from different perspectives.
Okay. And do you have so let me ask you then this is like how does it work for all these pressures in your position and then your friend's position on there? Can somebody like walk into your office and say, hey, I have an idea for a comic book? Or how does that work? How do you find the writers? How do you find the artists? And how much agency, how much say do you have as the heads of Comic Republic on what's produced?
Okay, so most of the ideas and titles are created in-house.
Okay.
We hire writers occasionally to work on already created titles. We have people in the company that would flesh out the stories, what the next issue is going to be about, and then we get the writers to basically, create the scripts for the stories. Now, how we hire is occasionally we put out we are hiring on our social media platforms, and then qualified artists, colorists, letterers, writers, editors, they apply, and then we sift. We pick out the best, and we roll with them, work with them. Most of them end up becoming full-time staff, and some of them just stay as freelance artists.
Okay. This is great because also too, it's like a lot of folks are just, I love like this. What you have here is you have your character Bible. It's like 100. It's like over 120 pages that talks about all the characters.
Yes, and this actually talks about all the characters up until when we created this particular character Bible. There's going to be an update sometime in 2022. This particular character Bible that would include the new characters that we have. And there's also another one that talks about the villains. This is the one that talks about the heroes.
Right.
There is another one that talks about the villains. It's also on the site as well.
Wow. Now, is this like a shared universe? Is this all?
Yes,
is everybody here? It's all part of the same universe. Okay.
Yes. Everyone is part of the same universe.
Okay.
We have a few standalones, but eventually the long-term plan is to make everyone part of one universe and make them interact with each other as much as we can.
And where can people find the comics if they wanted to? If you have somebody in, say, Germany or Japan or Tanzania, how would they be able to access Comic Republic's titles?
Okay, so we are an online comic book company, online character-based comic book company.
Okay.
And for you to actually access our content, you need to go to our website. And that's www.thecomicrepublic.com. And you can also access us via our social media platforms. We have Instagram, which is Comic Republic Media. We have Facebook, which is Comic Republic, and we have Twitter, which is also Comic Republic. So we are basically everywhere where your faces. I think we have a TikTok account. I'm not so sure about that yet, but I know we are on the popular platforms. That's the Instagram, the Twitter, and the Facebook. Yeah. And it's just one, Comic Republic search away, Comic Republic, and you will find us immediately.
So let me ask you, as a Nigerian-based comic book company, there's 54 countries in Africa.
Yeah.
There's thousands of different cultures. Where do you see yourself as Comic Republic? Do you try to if somebody from, say, Cameroon or somebody from Burkina Faso reached out to say, hey, I got an idea for a comic, or do you have your comic book in Kiswahili, or do you have your comic book written? Do you have a version in for French? Do you have other translations of your comic books as well?
At the moment, I'll say no, but that's currently a work in progress. It's something that we've thought about extensively, and we already have work in place to make sure that those facilities are available to people in other non-speaking countries. Like you said, probably French-speaking countries, Burkina Faso, Cameroon, and other parts of the world. So once you get to our website, you have the option to pick uh, English or French or Swahili or other languages that are available as well. But it's a work in progress. It's something we're actively working on.
Right. And what are some of the qualifying things that you notice that you look for in a writer, or what you look for in an artist that meets that Comic Republic standard?
Well, if you mostly take a look at our content, quality of the content, there is something very international about it. It has an international appeal. Whenever we are hiring, we make sure to look out for the artists, the writers that, I don't want to say that write like Marvel or write like DC, but write in such a way and draw and color in such a way that you can put a Comic Republic comic book side by side with a DC and a Marvel comic book, and you would say, I want to read the Comic Republic book, all issues of Might of Guardian Prime, before I read all issues of Spider-Man or all issues of Superman. So that's what we look out for. We don't just settle for, oh, this individual or this fellow can draw or this fellow can write. We even take the time to actually train them. We have internship programs where, oh, you have the skill, you have the requirements of what we want, but you still need that extra thing that would make your work stand out from the rest of the world. That when people look at this thing and you tell them it comes from Nigeria, it's an African company, sorry, a comic book company that is based in Nigeria, and it's run by Nigerians. You go, wow, oh my God, are you for real? This actually came out from Nigerians. So that's what we actually look for, that wow factor and that sellable factor that, individuals in other parts of the country look at it and say, this looks like something that came up from the United States. This looks like something that came up from the UK, from France, just to a very large extent take away that Africa doesn't really have quality. Africa doesn't really have content in terms of creativity and stuff like that. So yeah.
And how do you? So right now with your titles, you said that you have over, and I think you have over 100 issues out so far.
Yes.
What's your production at? How do you? Is there a title coming out once a month, or a couple titles once a month?
So we have a title coming out every 2 weeks.
Wow.
On Wednesday, and that basically is 2 comic books a month. And once in a while, the number actually increases. At times we have 4 comic books coming out a month because we have a production schedule that we undergo long before the comic book is actually coming out. So we have time to plan what book is coming out next, what book is going to be released next. But basically, we have 2 comic books every Wednesday.
Right. Yeah. And so this is, and the people that you work with, this is like their full-time job. Like this is like the job they go to work with every day and do.
Well, most of the people I work with are, with us full-time. We have the CEO, Jude Martin. You should actually, do one of this with him sometime. He's an amazing person. We'll just have to look for a time in his very busy schedule to fit him into your, thing. So we have people that work with us full-time. They come to the office from 9 and they leave by 5. And then we have the other people who work from home. Based on where they live. Some people live in Ibadan, some people live in Abuja. They're scattered around the country. Some even live abroad, and we have a lot of our artists living abroad. Most of them live in the United States, in London.
Right.
But we get to still work with them. We have the core staff coming to the office on a daily basis, and that's just about it.
Right. And do you have so? How much do you feel that the Comic Republic has on the sense of creating comics that take place in Africa and in the African continent, but also how much do you see this as also a part of an advocacy and almost like an educational perspective to let other parts of the world know that um, there's stories out there that that we can uniquely tell, and we provide a really good voice for that. So how much do you see that as being part of an entertainment, but also part of it being education?
So so to answer the question, it's actually played a very, very huge part. It's
Mm.
played a very huge role in, the educational aspect. It might not be the exact education of, oh, you go to school, 1 plus 1 is 2
Right.
and all of that. No, but there's a lot of culture in our book. There's a lot of doctrine, there's a lot of upbringing a lot of upbringing and cultural messages that we pass using our characters, using our comic books. Um, for example, whenever we are releasing a comic book, we have copies that go with posters that we post on our social media pages. And when you get to read those copies, you could tell that there's a story that's about to be told or that you're about to read that has a form of educational value that you can
Mm.
actually learn something from. And it's not just about the action, the punches, and so far so good. What we do in order to make sure that we get even the youngest audience to read our mature books is, no matter how bloody a comic book is, we do not show the blood.
Mm.
And even if we're going to show the blood, we make it black. This
Right.
makes it, marketable. It makes it versatile. It makes it in such a way that everyone and anyone can actually pick up a comic book title, read it, and get it.
Right. And do you see that? What's it like? Is there certain titles that are more like that are for different ages as compared to some other titles, or are they all further around the same age?
So yeah, we make them in such a way that anyone and everyone can read them.
Okay.
Um, some of them might have a bit more of a mature tone, but in terms of maturity, probably maybe where the story direction is going to or where it's coming from, but nothing as such as nudity or strong language. So that's why everyone and anyone can read it. A very young person can read it. But yes, we have everything. We have things for everyone of different ages. We have
Mm.
comic books like curate, which means little heroes, basically.
Mm.
For a younger audience, we normally have one coming out every Christmas and some other time in the year.
Right.
And yeah, it's the style is really playful. It's chibi,
Right.
basically, and we have everyone always looking forward to it
Right.
because most of the stories are playful. But at the end of the day, there's always that underlining tone of um, don't be bad to your friends, don't bully, don't steal from the pots, don't take an extra meat if you're not giving. Little
Right.
messages like that are passed across in Europe. So yeah.
Yeah. And so what's the go? So you did the titles. Do you guys have you also have your app still up, correct?
Yes, yes, the app is still up. The app is running.
Okay. All
App
right.
is
And that would be the app that people can actually just read your comics straight through there,
Yes.
right?
So you can actually go to the Play Store, the Google Play Store, to download the app,
Yeah.
and you could if you use an iPhone or an Apple device, you could actually just go to the mobile site. You type in thecomicpublic.com. It works as a native app, a PWA, progressive web app. So all
Hmm.
you have to do is once you open up the site on on your mobile phone on your iPhone, it brings up a prompt that tells you add to home screen, and then you click that and it downloads, basically saves the progressive web app to your phone,
Oh wow.
and then you can browse from there. You
Oh
can actually
wow.
read the books on there, and then you can also access it through the website. That's if you want to read the mobile version. For people who like to see it large and in high quality and high resolution, yeah,
Yeah.
there's a desktop version for you. And then for people who don't want to download the app, well, I would actually employ you to download the app. It's interactive, it's fun, and it's light. But you
So
could always just go to the website and read it on mobile.
so people can read these for free.
Yes, all our books are free.
So where do you where's the market piece for that? How do you
Um,
where's the funding coming? Like how do you?
It's magical. I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you. So we have a whole lot of other clients that we work with. We work with
Okay.
Al Jazeera, we work with CNN, we work with DW, we work with we work with BBC, Sahara Reporters, Sahara Group. a whole lot of them, and we do a lot of commissions for them, a lot of storytelling, basically advertisements, and our revenue comes mostly from that, and we are able to use that to fund our comic books. We partner with most of these guys, and we create content for them, and in turn, we're able to fund our comic books and
Oh
make them
wow.
live, make them free for everyone else,
So you
including
get
ourselves.
okay, wow. So you're able to then take you do the storyboarding and illustrations and stuff like that for bigger
Yes,
for bigger companies,
yes,
but then in turn, do you actually then kind of have absolutely help fund the comic
our
books?
own comic books. Yes.
Oh, okay. Wow. And so where did that industry model come from? Was that an idea that one of you brought to the table, or?
Well, so again, I like to always mention my boss and give him a lot of credit
Hmm,
for a lot of things that have, gone down over the past few years in Comic Public. Well, not 10 years yet, but we've done what most startups, have tried and failed and have given up, and we've
right.
accomplished and we've achieved. Um, so basically, we look at the market, we look at the part of the world where we're in. There's a very, very poor reading culture in this part of the world.
Right.
You see examples of this in early in the morning when you're on your way to work. You have newspaper vendors selling newspapers, but instead of people picking up a newspaper to buy, they're just standing there at the vendor's post reading the newspaper right there. And
Right.
then once they're done, they go, they don't even buy it or pay for it. They just read it on the spot. I mean, a headline or two headlines is enough for you to, get your day going. You read about the collapse in this, the collapse in that, or the upbringing in this, or this person is about to become governor or president, and you're good. You don't have to turn the pages of the newspaper. We felt that if we started um, putting our comic books in stores and selling them, we would most likely have that same effect because of where we are. And then my boss thought about the most brilliant strategy ever. Why not give it to people for free at no cost at all? Let them have access to it easily. And then, our funding comes from a different source entirely.
Right. And have you gotten a lot of feedback about kids maybe reading it, saying thank you, and um, all
Yeah.
this stuff
We,
too?
we, we get we get a lot of mails, a lot of Facebook posts, DMs here and there,
Yeah.
fan art. Most of the gratitude comes in form of fan art. You see people create um,
Right.
artworks of our characters, showing appreciation. I wouldn't have been able to read this particular book or know that this particular book existed if I had to pay for it. Because if you have to actually print a comic book, the cost to publish, print physical copies is
Right.
a whole lot, and then you need to sell them and make your profit off them. So if that was the case here, a lot of people would not have access to this content. So giving it out for free, they have been able to see them and get back to us and say thank you one way or the other, Comic Public, for giving us great characters
Right.
in their own time.
And is there a way then, like for instance, because I know now is it's amazing to see that um like all over the place. There's even a few times like there's now there's you got comic book conventions now in
Yeah.
Nigeria. Is there a way that somebody who's a fan of Comic Republic will see Comic Republic at like a convention and be able to buy a physical copy of any of these, or
Yeah.
uh,
So Comic Republic actually has um, we have our own convention. It's called Comic Connect Africa.
oh cool.
Yeah, we have it. We have it once every year, but we did not have it last year and this year because of the pandemic. We are very very particular about safety and the well-being of our fans and our staff. So anything that would probably endanger the lives of fans, staff, we just completely totally cut it out, and we reschedule it to when it's more strategic. It makes a whole lot more sense. So
Right.
this year, unfortunately, last year, unfortunately as well, we didn't hold any of that. But so far, so good. I think we've had about three comic conventions called Comic Connect Africa, and they've
Okay.
been massive. They've been massive. We've partnered with the British Council, and it's been amazing. It's 2 3 years having Comic Connect back to back, Comic Connect events, Comic conventions have just been amazing.
Right. And then Vanguard. We're looking at your tear sheet here. Vanguard, is that
Yeah.
like the like it's like kind of like the Justice League of Comic Republic? It's all the heroes
Yes.
together.
So yeah, so the Vanguards actually, like you said, like implied the Justice League, the Avengers, and it's a shared universe. At some point in time, all the characters come together to fight a common threat,
Okay.
and they call themselves the Vanguard.
Right. So then all the characters like Guardian Prime and they are they all the characters that you and your friend invented, or how many of the
Yeah.
characters are part of the shared universe are coming from the
So
the writers?
so 99%, 99.9% of the characters in Comic Republic were created by creators that that have been in Comic Republic from the very first day. And
Cool.
by being in the Comic Republic from the very first day, I mean people who basically started the company together. Um, we have we have characters like Ireti, we have Bits, we have we have Eru, we have Ireti Moremi, we have a whole lot of them. We have the galactic core characters, the space-based characters. Even though it might seem like as if they're far away in another galaxy, they're still
Right.
in the same universe as all the other characters. So all these characters, all these titles, all these comic books were created by um, the same people who started the company all those many years ago. And these titles have actually grown. I think the 1% of characters that may or may not have been originated or have originated from creators of the company are just maybe like one or two of them in
Mm.
total. But the rest of them, they're all created by people in house. I, for one, created that character you just saw, Iriti.
Okay.
Yeah, Iriti. And yeah, I think she's currently on the fifth issue. The fourth issue, the fifth issue is underway as well.
Oh wow. And that's awesome. And do you have, is there any like any like a favorite villain that you have?
Well, me personally, I think, and this is me being biased there, I think my favorite villain is this guy you're looking at right now, Ajalu. Um, he has a very conflicted backstory, which we have not explored yet, but we will in the coming years. So I would not leave spoilers out. I would just say, stay tuned, stay with the Comic Republic, and you will find out. He's my favorite villain because I created him, and I really didn't have a template for what his personality was. But I believe that eventually, when his end game is revealed, people would be blown away.
Wow. Okay.
Everyone's going to be blown away.
What's next for Comic Republic? Are you guys, is there any um like games or like video games or board games or any animation things happening? What's next for your characters?
Okay, so great things, very
Yeah.
amazing things. Past couple of months have been filled with news and partnerships.
Right.
And one of the most amazing partnerships that Comic Republic just, deals that Comic Republic just signed off was um, being having CAA as our agency. That's the Creative Artists Agency. And if you know CAA, you know it's a very, very big deal. CAA are the agency behind most of the top creative artists in the world. Beyonce, Rihanna, most of them. Once you check out CAA and you check out their list of clients, it's extensive, it's immersive, and we recently just off, signed on with CAA, and under a few months, we already have a movie deal for Iriti. Although Iriti is going to be the first, we have a whole lot of other movie deals that are going to come after that are already a work in progress. So it's been, like I said, it's been a very, very amazing past few months for the company. Good news here and there, and endorsements, and sign-ups and all of that. So yeah, the future of Comic Public is extensive. It's, lots of movies, lots of animations, video games, merchandise, and whatnot.
Right. And so yeah, because didn't you? There's there something on there where you're going to be making some uh, like a movie or something that I saw.
Mhm.
Was that
Yeah.
okay? Yeah, that's exciting stuff too.
Yes, it is. I'm
um,
looking forward. I mean, my baby
yeah,
is getting a movie soon, so I mean,
yeah,
alongside the efforts from everyone else in the company, my boss, my close colleagues, it's a dream come true.
right. And do you have? And so so with that said, I mean, how at what point? Where's is there going to be more titles coming out? Because as you said, you got about 20 titles or so far.
Yeah.
Um, what's next from that as well? Are you sticking with those 20 titles, or are there
Yeah.
going to be more and more titles coming out?
So there will be over the next few years, there will definitely be more titles coming. There will definitely be more characters being added to the shared universe, new introductions, new bad guys. Some characters may or may not be killed off. This is like minor spoilers. Some characters may or not be killed off. Some characters may stay, but definitely there'll be new characters. There'll be new comic book titles. Um, you know, like I said, it's not even 10 years yet, and we have gotten
I
this
know.
far. And you imagine what we'll do over the next 5 years.
Right.
I personally am looking forward to new titles because I love to see more characters interact with the old characters, newer characters interact with the older characters, while we are still building and fleshing out the older characters' stories and backgrounds and all of
Right. And because of Comic Republic size, do you feel there's some sort of obligation to highlight other African artists and African comics as well to to kind of like expand that education and advocacy for, as I say, like other countries as well?
that. Sure, can you take that again? I didn't get the question.
So I guess my question is, because of the large footprint that Comic Republic has
Yeah.
in Africa, specific, like also um, do you feel as though there's some sort of obligation as well to kind of help highlight, say, like an independent comic creator in Tanzania or another one in Mauritania or somebody in Uganda, for instance? Do you feel as though there's some level of um, obligation to kind of help lift up other comic
Other
creators
creators.
in
Yeah.
Africa?
So if there's anything I have learned in all my years of being a creative, it's you grow by lifting others up.
Mm.
So yes, um, we know them, we reach out to them, they reach out to us. How can we help ourselves grow? You scratch my back, I scratch your back
Yeah.
type of thing. And yeah, so yes, definitely. There is room for reaching out to, other indie creators, indie companies and helping
Right.
them grow as well. I mean, Comic Public is on the map right now and we are doing great, but doing exploits, doing a lot of great things.
Right.
I mean, you can't most people in Africa that are creatives, once you mention comic public, like, oh yeah, I know comic public. So I mean with that following, with that popularity, I believe that there's room to help grow other, indie creators and indie companies.
So, as looking at it from a comic book publisher perspective,
Yeah.
when you hire artists and creatives, do you have a kind of a standard model of usage? Like, you, if you want to be an artist with us, you have to be adept at, say, like Photoshop
Okay.
or 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 maybe like another app, or do
Another
you
app.
say, hey, as long as what you produce, as long as you send it to us on time, we don't care how you make it, but this is our expectations? Do you have a set of tools that you expect your artists to use, or do you allow them to just create?
So the world is greatly moving to the digital age, or
Right.
rather, the world has moved to the
Right.
digital age.
Yeah.
Um, Nowadays, we don't even need to even. Back then, we used to, have the requirements of you need to be a digital artist before you can work with us. We need to be able to save your raw files, so in case if you are not available, we can tweak things here and there. You need to draw things on separate layers in Photoshop or in Clip
Right.
Studio or in CorelDRAW. Nowadays, most artists already just figure that out on their own. And then
Right.
when they are applying, they are coming with the mindset that I have to be a digital artist to work with a company as big as this because most of their outputs are done digitally. I mean, you could have work done traditionally, and by traditionally I mean with the pencil, the paper, the scanner, but
Mhm.
there's just that there's just that finishing that you get when you do your art digitally that you might not necessarily have when you do it traditionally. I might be
Right.
wrong, but right now from what I've seen, from how far I've come, I would rather pick um, you know, 10 intermediate digital artists to work on comic books, yeah, on 10 comic books than
Yeah.
pick, two professional experts, traditional artists, because we would have a lot of issues, following up with files and all of that. So yeah. So the prerequisite really is be a digital artist, be an amazing digital artist. If we need to boost your skill or boost your materials, your equipment, Comic Public can actually do that for you. You can come to the office. We provide. If you don't have equipment, we provide equipment for you. But under the rule that you need to come to work at the office, so we can provide this equipment for you to work with in the office.
Right.
It's a digital age.
It is.
Everyone needs to go digital.
And so, what's your expectation that you have with your artists? Do they work based off of like by the hour or just by the page rate, or how would that work if somebody is looking to want to work for Comic Republic?
Okay, so I think in this part of the world, when we hire artists from this part of the world, that's Africa, West Africa to be specific,
Hmm.
we mostly work with per page. I think most artists out there work with per page.
Right.
I think it's a lot flexible. It's a lot more flexible. It's a lot easier to calculate when you work per page. I'm not sure. I might be wrong, but for the most, we work with the per page.
And do you have and also and the same would go then for the writers as well then, right?
Yeah, for writers as well too. Writers work with the per page rate as well.
Oh, okay.
Per page rate.
Uh, and so I guess from there, do you have and how much work do they do that is based off of, say, putting some time in the comic books as compared to doing some contracting work for doing storyboards and illustrations for outside companies?
Hmm. Well, I think that all boils down to what that particular artist or writer can actually, um, dedicate themselves to, how much deliverables they can put
Okay.
out in a week. But we usually have a minimum of, for artists and colors, we usually have a minimum of 5 pages a week,
Okay.
and most of them actually deliver outstanding. Most of, if not all of them, actually deliver outstandingly. Um, 5 pages a week, 5 color pages a week, 5 letter pages a week. But the writers, most of the time, the writer just tells us a time at which he or she will be done with the script, and then they just send it in on or before that particular day. So there's really no, oh, you need to deliver 5 pages per week for the writers, except maybe it's we want to like monitor that particular title closely to see what is coming out, so we don't have to completely rewrite the entire story. We
Right.
ask the artist to maybe drop 8 pages per week, and then because our books are 16 pages,
Okay.
yeah, our books are 16 pages, standard 16 pages, except maybe it's a graphic novel. So we ask the
Okay.
writer to write 8 pages, we review the 8 pages, and then if it's good to be able to approve, we jump onto the next set of 8 pages and rewrite and we wrap it up and send it to the art team for illustration.
Okay, that's pretty cool. And do you have so I guess so what you have any of your heroes from Emo State?
Heroes for me. Okay, so we have Igbo characters.
Okay.
Yeah, we have Igbo characters. I'm not sure if the creators of those Igbo characters have specified what state they are from.
Okay.
Like, for example, we have Amadioha. Amadioha is Igbo. I
Okay.
don't know what state he's from. We have a lot of other Igbo characters as well. Not major characters, but supporting characters playing side roles. I have a character whose name is Dorothy,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. I think up until now, I think she's Igbo right now. I think I'm just getting the Igbo. I have never actually specified where she's from. So
Oh, okay. All
she could
right.
as well just be Igbo.
Do you have any
So
Hausa characters then too?
do I have any? Yeah, we have. So there's if you keep scrolling down this list, you find Jade Waziri. Jade
Okay.
Waziri is Hausa. We have Joshua Martins, Joshua Hakeem Martins. He's also
Okay.
Hausa. He's alter ego name is New Tech. That's like neural technology.
Right.
New Tech, yeah.
That's amazing. Like you look at you've been around less than 10. It's almost like you guys may have like a new character almost every month. You have like a new character.
So we
Wow.
might not always have a new character having his own title, but
Right.
there's usually always maybe a new character appearing in another title, and then
Right.
depending on how well that character does or how much he's loved, he goes on to star in his own title later on.
Right. That's awesome. Is this a picture that we're looking at a picture of Guardian Prime? Is this an
Yes,
actual 3D? Is this an
yes,
actual
yes.
statue
That's
of him?
3D. That's 3D.
Oh,
Yes, that's like a 3D model of him.
oh wow.
That's a 3D model of him.
That's awesome. Wow, great. So Michael, we're knocking on our hour mark already.
Yeah.
So this is exciting stuff. It's so fun to look at, like this huge comic book company that has over 20 titles. It's been around less than 10 years, over 100 issues, and you have like a, an incredible amount of artists and writers that you're working with. What would be some of your advice for a comic creator who wants to kind of take it to that next step? Like, I got a lot of ideas, I just don't have the writers, I don't have the writers, I don't have the artists for this. What would be a tip that you would give a comic creator?
So based on what I have seen in my years of working as a creative and working with comic book and growing in my field as a color artist, because I color comic books, I letter comic books, I do a lot of project management as well. One thing I have seen and I have noticed, and one advice I would give is, don't be in a hurry to do what is meant to be done in 10 years. Or sorry, let me cut it down a bit. Don't be in a hurry to do what's supposed to be done in 6 hours,
Hmm.
in 1 hour, or in 30 minutes. The results will be different. If you are supposed to fortify a house with great foundations and it's supposed to take you 6 months, let it
Right.
take you 6 months. Even if you
Right.
have the capability to do it in 2 months, take your time, do it in 6 months. You will find out that the results you get at the end of the 6 months will be way greater than what you would have, rushed to do in a few months. So, to creatives that are upcoming out there, I would basically just tell them this: find people who are serious about this, thing, and work with them. No one man is an island. Work with them. Rub your heads together, put your ideas together, and
Right.
then if you feel at some point, maybe after a few years, that you're ready to actually start something on your own with the experience that you've gained, then you can actually branch out. Or you could actually still just grow those set of people and make something big out of what you guys already have.
Right.
Uh, it really would not be nice for someone to, go into something that they're not so sure about and then end up dropping it halfway because they didn't have the funds or the right amount of influence to see it go to where they want to see it go to. So yeah, work with other people, partner, collaborate, do a lot of things with a lot of people. Like I said earlier on, you grow by helping others grow. So
Right. Yeah. Cool. Perfect. Well, thank you very much, Michael.
thank
It
you.
was a really fun conversation.
Thank you very
All
much.
right.
I bet you have a much more fun conversation with the CEO, Gideon, a much more fun conversation with him.
Yeah.
So
Cool. Well, yeah. So we'll have you guys come back on next time, and then come back on. We'll talk more about some of your maybe just some deep dives with some of your characters.
all right. Then.
wife. Oh, so my mother-in-law just said hello, Ruthie
Oh,
Emmy. So
hello.
yeah,
Hi. Nice, nice to meet you online.
yeah, she makes the best egusi soup. So next
I
time
appreciate.
if you ever come over
I,
here, that's
I
what do you
actually
have?
think I actually think I make the best egusi soup.
Oh, do
I
you?
think
Oh,
I make the
okay.
best egusi soup. This is just bragging rights. So I
What
think I
about
make amazing
how's
egusi.
your jollof rice? Is your jollof rice good?
My jollof rice is great, but it's seasonal. So it could be great today, it could be messy tomorrow, it could be salty next tomorrow. But most of the time, it's always it's really good. It's actually
Okay.
really good most of the time.
Yeah. She just said up Nepa.
Yeah. I mean, I have the backup generator on, so
Yeah.
nothing to worry about for now.